Hi, this is Tom, and in the next 5 minutes, I really want to help you to get moving on some stuff that you might be procrastinating on. Move it forward. That's what we're going to talk about. Hey, it's Tom, and on today's Thrive in 5, we're going to talk about why we don't implement and conversely what to do to implement. Implementation is really the essence of moving forward on things, getting things done. And there's a lot of times when I talk to people, either people I coach, people who are trying to accomplish things in their life, whether it be business, whether it be personal, it doesn't really matter. It's that a lot of people are not necessarily stuck, but they're failing to implement. And failing to implement is what often keeps us from accomplishing the things we want to get done. So I go, well, why are we doing that? So when I think about it, a number of things show up. The first one is we're stuck in learning mode. Now, there is nothing wrong with learning. Victor Cheng, who has been a coach of mine for years, has said to me, Tom, you can either be earning or you can be learning. And if you're learning, it's not that you can't earn, but often they're not closely aligned. So one of the things I've learned in my life is if I'm stuck in learning mode, I'm typically not implementing. I'm figuring things out. I'm accumulating data. I'm accumulating information so I can make a decision. But one of the reasons people don't implement is they're stuck in learning mode. And the problem with that is at a certain point in time, you can't learn anymore. You actually have to go and earn, do, act, implement. So at a certain point in time, you've got to actually leave learning and move into implementation. Nothing wrong with learning, but why people fail to implement is because they get stuck in learning and they feel like something else is going to show up to help solve the problem. So often it's important to, at a certain point, say, okay, I'm done learning, I need to move forward. Second one is perfectionism and procrastination. We've already talked about this on this show before, and I did a whole episode on procrastination and perfection. But one of the reasons we fail to implement is we get stuck that it has to be perfect, whatever it is we're trying to do. And perfectionism often leads to procrastination, which is I don't want to move forward until it's perfect. I don't want to do anything until I've got it figured out. And it can actually even relate back to learning. I don't have enough figured out from a learning perspective, and thus I'm procrastinating. There comes a time when you have to realize it can't be perfect, it won't be perfect, and the only way to implement is to say it doesn't have to be that way and move forward. But check out that other Thrive in 5 I did on that one. The next one is the wrong goal. A lot of people believe that there's this goal out there, but somewhere deep in your psyche, if you really dig in, this goal is wrong. You may think it's something you just can accomplish. You might think it's something that is possible. You might think it's an opportunity out there. It might be somebody else's goal, but really when it comes right down to it, you're not implementing because you're focused on the wrong thing. You're looking to accomplish the wrong thing, and as a result, you really don't move forward with it. It's the wrong goal. And if you're focused on the wrong goal, really what you have to do is often step back and go, well, what is the right goal? Because if you've got the right goal, it's much easier to implement than if you've got the wrong goal. Wrong goals sometimes internally just hit our own walls and we stop proceeding and we stop moving forward because internally we're going, something's not right. There's a lack of alignment. So make sure you're focused on the right goal because the right goal can really often drive implementation. The next one, I think, that causes us to fail to implement is we don't know how to implement. We might actually have the right goal, we just don't know how to do it or what to do specifically. And so in this case, to implement means you might actually have to pull back and go, what is it that I have to know how to do? Or who can I find that can help me with this? But if you don't know how to do something, you're not going to implement because you don't have the tools, the resource, the capacity, the opportunity. You're stuck in that particular place. But I think as I work with people and as I hear the kinds of stuff that I do on a regular basis, both in my coaching work and just in the conversations I have, one of the biggest things that keeps us from implementing, and it in its own way touches all of these, is people don't come to their goals with a plan. They have goals, they have these things stuck in their head, whether they be right or wrong, they're sort of stuck in there, their dreams, their ideas. But when you actually say, what are you going to do to get to that specific outcome, there's no plan. And when there's no plan, it's very difficult to implement. So for me, one of the things I do with my coaching clients is I say, let's just create a plan. What's the next logical step that you can take towards the outcome you want to achieve, and make that small, incremental. It doesn't take a lot of effort necessarily. It might be a small little factor. It might be a time set aside. I'll often say to people, just spend 15 minutes on this one thing. And that plan, if you execute on the plan in tiny incremental ways, will help you implement. The reason we don't implement is there's something going on. And so what I want you to do from this particular Thrive in 5 episode is go, if I'm not moving forward on something, what's holding me back? What's causing it? Is the wrong goal? Is I don't know how? Is it getting stuck in it has to be right? Or is it getting stuck in, oh, I don't have enough knowledge yet, I got to keep gaining more? If it's one of those things, think about it, take a look at it, and see how you can create a plan to move forward so you are implementing instead of not. I hope that helps. We'll talk to you next time.